presents School is Now in Session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschooled.
The Homeschooled Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Welcome back to Homeschooled Podcast. My name is Agostino Zoida. I'm the host of the Homeschooled Podcast. My co-host Kevin Lyons has been out of town for quite some time dealing with some family matters. And listen, guys, we understand family is important here, so I ain't mad at him. He still does a great job editing all these, so thank you very much, Kevin Lyons, my co-host. Today is just me, Agostino Zoida. This is a solo podcast, no guest, no co-host, and I do these every so often, typically once a month, because it's usually if I have something on my mind. And I do have something on my mind that I have been wanting to do a podcast about this for a short while now, and so I'm coming at you guys, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out to the Comedy Store on Saturday night. I was there as a guest on the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Sam Tripoli. It was a lot of fun. It was live streamed, and there were over 2,500 people watching from all over the world. And in person, it was a packed house at the Comedy Store where they sit on the patio and on the in the parking lot at the tables, and they live stream it out there as well. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And if you guys were there or if you live streamed it, I want to say thank you. And before we begin, you guys, like I said, I have something on my mind that I wanted to go into. But before we begin, just a quick reminder, guys, my comedy album is out. Unfortunately, I did not get to do a pre-sale, and that's how you do a comedy album release. You do a pre-sale like 3 weeks before you release your date, and that helps you hit the ground running and builds momentum for when the album's out. You're more likely to get featured on iTunes and get your numbers up. But because of COVID, that motherfucker, I wasn't able to promote my album with a pre-sale. I didn't even know it was out. They told me, hey, your album's delayed. It can't come out on the date that you chose because all the warehouses are closed and we don't have the distribution yet. So anyway, I find out that my album's been out. It came out like July 25th, and so I didn't get to do a pre-sale, so I just been pushing it really hard. I did Sam Tripoli's podcast, I did Adam Ferrara's podcast, and I just want to let my own people know who support Homeschooled Podcast to please download my album, you guys. If you got iTunes, if you have Apple Music or Amazon Music Unlimited, these are free downloads for you. All you gotta do is pull it up, type in my name, Agostino Zoida. The album is called The Bad Guy, and just hit download. If you don't have one of those subscriptions, then you gotta pay the small $10 for it. Which, listen, guys, you put $10 in the Comedy Karma box, and it helps out everybody. I really would appreciate it. Also, this episode is brought to you by Puffy Mattress, who is America's #1 leading memory foam mattress that gets delivered right to your door. Guys, no, this is not one of those ones that you see 100 times all over the YouTube and Instagram ads. Guys, this is #1. I'll tell you why it's #1. Because it's made in the USA, and it's everybody's favorite, you guys. I've tried a bunch of the other ones, and none of them were as good as this. This literally got rid of the back pain in just like 2 weeks. I'm waking up and I'm going, holy shit! This back pain that I used to get every single morning is gone, and I sleep so much better. It comes with well, if you click the link in the description and use my link, you get a free King Puffy pillow, which is this giant pillow that's just like it makes the whole thing amazing. You got to get the pillow too, and I'm gonna hook you up. So click the link in the description and get $300 off your mattress. All right, guys, we're talking about a money back guarantee. Sleep on the mattress for 101 nights, and if you for any reason are not satisfied, you 100% get your money back, okay? But click the link in the description. You're going to get $300 off your order, and you're going to get the free King Puffy pillow. And some of you guys who are good boys and girls who got good credit, you guys fill it out. Maybe you're available for financing. You don't have to pay for it all up front. It's just an easy monthly payment installment plan. But either way, help support the Homeschooled Podcast. Click the link in the description for Puffy Mattress. $300 off plus one King Puffy pillow. And don't forget to download my album, The Bad Guy. It's available worldwide, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. But whatever you can do, if you can download the entire album, Amazon, whatever you got to do, it helps me out a lot. Also, you can pick up a t-shirt for the Homeschool Podcast at homeschoolpod.com. Click on merch. We have a new dope-ass design that you guys can pick up. I got them on masks. I got them on shirts. I also got some unrelated masks. So if you want to buy a mask, I got some funny ones too. I got one that says placebo mask on there. Just check it out. homeschoolpod.com/merch. All right, let's get right into it. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I usually like to get you early on in the week. You should be getting this Tuesday. I hope your guys' Monday started off strong. What I want to talk to you guys about is loneliness, okay? And I wanted to talk to you guys about it for a little while because I feel that it is very important for me to stress that I don't know how everybody feels all the time. And I've been on here a couple times. Specifically, I would say when I do my solo podcasts, or I've mentioned on here a lot about how to deal with depression, how to deal with the quarantine and the lockdown and all this stuff. Because I know that a lot of my friends have mental health. I know that a lot of stand-up comedians suffer with mental health, and they were already having loneliness issues or mental health issues or depression issues before this. And I know that the lockdown is only amplified that, and it's getting serious. And not just comedians, but people all over the world. It's getting serious. So often I've talked about, being quarantined is a state of mind, which is another episode that I did. And I talk about, if you're alone, you got to make the best of it and all this stuff like that. So I just wanted to do an episode on loneliness because I don't want you guys to think that, I know where you're coming from, because it's easy for me to say a lot of this stuff. So when I say things like that, you might look at me and go, well, it's easy for you to say. And you're right. I don't live alone. I have a wife. I have a dog. And it's a little easier for me. And so I guess when I say these things, I don't want you guys to hate me or be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Because I do know what you're going through. I do know what loneliness feels like. I do know what darkness feels like. And I've been in that place before myself. I'm not somebody that likes to be alone. So that is why I always have someone with me. Guys, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, there was a very short period between my first wife and my wife now. There was a very short period. I don't do well not being with someone. Like I've for most of my life since I've been old enough to date, even going to teenager, I've always been in relationships, even if they were like small, little, cute kid stuff. Like I've just been one of those guys that I like to have, a girlfriend, and then it became a wife, and it's because I don't do well with loneliness, or I don't do well with being alone, which has actually changed as I got older. But yeah, I tell you guys all these tips or advice or how you should feel, or it's a state of mind and all this stuff. But I have a wife, and it's easy for me to say. My parents live on the same block as me. I know a lot of you guys, you can't go see your mom or dad or your grandparents, and I get to see mine. My parents are not that old, so it's not like it's terrible to go see them, but they are cautious, and I wear a mask, and I can go see them. They're on the corner, you guys. I go downstairs, I make a right, and my parents are right there. So, it's easy for me to say. So I'm not trying to make light of a situation that someone else might be in that I don't know. Some people have kids, some people don't. Some people are married, some people not. Some people have pets. If you guys are alone, by the way, I would say this might be a great time to get a pet. If you're struggling with depression, loneliness, I'm a dog person myself, but whatever it is that you like, unless you're like allergic or something, I don't know, get something, you guys, because there's a bunch of animals out there that need a home, and then you need somebody too, So I just want to throw that out there. But getting back to my point in loneliness and stuff like that, and guys, I'm bringing this up, and I hope they don't get mad at me again, but I'm also going to say this. Loneliness is also a state of mind, okay? When I told you in the beginning that I have felt loneliness, I do know what that depression feels like. I do know what that dark feeling that you feel. And you guys want to know something funny or more ironic? When I felt that way the most, it was when I was with someone. It was when I was married, my first time. I never felt more alone or in the dark or, a mentally depressed and a physically. Does anybody know what it's like to feel physically depressed? We're talking about unhealthy, also just not wanting to move because your mind has taken over your body. And ironically enough, it was when I was married. Now, take that as an example of loneliness can be a state of mind because I was with someone and I still felt lonely. You can be with someone and they're not paired well. You have some friends, you like them, they're great, but you can hang out with them for like an hour only. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people that are not your match. I don't only mean relationship, I mean friendship. You could have a relative that you're blood relatives with, and you just, I love you, but we're not compatible to be like best friends. Pardon the airplane overhead. But loneliness can also be a state of mind, you guys. That was the darkest place in my life, and I was married at the time. And sure, I found friends. I found a release from that with friends. And you know what, you guys? I went from being a boy to being a man. I went through that transition, boyhood to manhood, in the stand-up comedy clubs. That's where it happened. And within the stand-up comedy clubs, I met a lot of guys. Some of them I still talk to, some of them I don't. Some of them I would still consider some of my closest friends. And then some of them were just acquaintances now, or at least we're friendly. But at the time, I was getting involved in drinking every night. That's what you do. You hang out late at comedy clubs, very, very, very late. And you drink. And you do drugs because you hang out late, so you drink. So some people are just drinkers. Or if you're not really a drinker, you eventually turn to it because you're out late at a comedy club. Rejection doesn't feel great. Hanging out there all the time, and if you don't get to go up on stage, sometimes it can get to you. You feel like, where am I going with comedy, or where am I going with my career or my life? And it gets to you, it causes you to drink. And then you watch other comedians go on stage, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, oh man, I'm never going to be like them, or how come they get more stage time than me? I'm funnier. Your brain toxins take over, and you can't. It's very normal to have all these thoughts. It's just it happens, And not only was I like feeling alone at home and depressed at home, like I didn't even fit in at my own house because of the relationship I had with my wife and her family, but I left and I dealt with these other demons, and there were my friends. And guys, I'm not saying this is the part where I became a man, but I am saying at some point I went from boy to man, and I met these guys, and it was cocaine. Guys, if you know anything about me, if you know the family I come from, if you know the way I was raised or how I grew up, and you would know that cocaine should never have been on my radar. It shouldn't have been something that I would even be involved in. It's not even fitting my personality. But guys, I did it. I sold it for extra money. And so I guess I never even thought about it, but technically I was a drug dealer. I did it. I used it with my friends. That's what you do late night at a comedy club. And it was exposed to me with everything I was going through. I did it, okay? And I'm glad that I don't do it anymore. And but that's what it was. I just wanted to point out to you guys that loneliness can also be a state of mind. You have to find happiness with yourself. And right now, as I get older, I'm okay by myself. I mean, I'm still not 100% like, I don't like eating alone all the time. Like I gotta, I like when my wife eats with me. And, sometimes she'll say to me and be like, well, can't you eat on your own sometimes? Like, why don't you like being on your own? And you know what, guys, I really do. I've learned to like it more and more, but I'm still like halfway, I don't deal well with loneliness. But if I go on the road and do comedy for a week, away from her, and I have my own hotel room, I make the best of it. I do enjoy those times. It's my schedule, and it's all focused on me. Or sometimes she goes out of town for the weekend, and, I'm home with the dog, and I love it. I plan my whole weekend, from the time I'm going to wake up and walk the dog for a long walk, to what I'm going to eat, to what I'm going to watch, and I just kind of, it's like male pampering, for myself, because I'm a man, obviously. But that's, I've learned to love things like that. But of course, if it lasted a long time, I wouldn't be singing that same tune. If she was gone longer than a weekend, or if I was on the road doing comedy longer than a week, eventually you become homesick. Eventually I would miss being with someone. Yes, it's nice for the day. You go out and you walk around and you shop and you do your own thing on your own time. No one rushing you. You don't have to be anywhere. You can take your time. If you want to stop and look at something, you stop and look at something. On the way home, you sit there and you tell yourself, like, I want to eat this. So you go like, oh, I'm gonna eat this. I don't have to ask nobody. I can sit here by myself and eat something and be on my phone while I eat. Being in a relationship or any type of relationship, it takes work. It's a full-time job, especially a romantic relationship, boyfriends and girlfriends, husband and wives. It is a full-time job you have to devote to. And sometimes I'm on my phone or she's on her phone, and we'll irritate each other like, hey, it's dinner time, or hey, we're watching a movie. Can you put your phone down for a second? I'm guilty of it. She's guilty of it. And sometimes it's nice to sit there and you have I'm having a drink. I'm going to drink what I want to drink. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to talk to the bartender, whoever it may be, or I'm going to talk to strangers if I see fit, and then I'll leave. I'll go home and relax. And it is nice. There is nothing better than a time to yourself, pampering yourself, you taking care of you. When you're with other people, you got to worry about what everybody wants, what's going to make everybody happy. But when you're alone, you only got to worry about what makes you happy. So in order to do that, you need to figure out what makes you happy, and you need to be happy with just yourself. You need to be in love with yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to be happy and content with what you are and who you are and the things that you like. And I've never done this, but my advice to you guys is write down everything you like, whether from different genres, music, movies, favorite bands, favorite foods, favorite TV shows. Write down all these lists, and this is the person that you are. Like, I'm very specific. I like certain TV shows and movies are my favorite, and I like, sneakers. Like I love sneakers. I love clothes and outfits and shit like that. I don't know. That's not common for a man, but I do like stuff like that. I'm a big sneaker guy, and I think it's fun for you if you're home right now alone. Write down everything that you love. Get to know you. Like fill out something that if you were going to go on a blind date with someone, you would just tell them everything that you love. This is me. But you know what, guys? You're filling it out for you. You're going to go look back and be like, this is me. This is what I like. And go do those things that you like. Go enjoy yourself. Get to know you. Fall in love with you. And enjoy being with yourself. Now, as I was saying, I could only do this for like a week. One day, a weekend. It was great. I had a ball. But guys, like I said, I preach this talk to you guys, and I also, after a week, would be like, okay, 2 weeks, I'm on the road doing comedy, I haven't seen my wife, and so, like, guys, I don't do well with it. So I got you. So don't think when I say these things about, quarantine being a state of mind, and you have to love yourself and go learn how to have a ball with yourself. Don't think that I don't understand the real pain. and the real darkness that comes from depression and loneliness and your thoughts, because I do understand. And to prove my point that I was with someone and I never felt loneliness in my life than when I was with someone goes to show you that it's not in numbers, it's in mentality. Okay, so you have to become in charge. Loneliness is also a state of mind. Okay, you guys? But now imagine a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Some things in some states are starting to open. Some states open more than others. I don't know where you guys are. Or some countries open more than others. You can go to a restaurant outside now. You got to put your mask on until you're eating or drinking, and then you could take it off. Things like that. But, some people are afraid to go out. I mean, maybe some of your friends are still meeting up with you. You sit at the table, you take your mask off, and you guys eat together, and you put it back on, you go back home again. Like, it gets tough, and then you see your friends, and you can't hug them, and in your head, you go, like, this COVID thing is bullshit, but maybe they are really scared, so I'm not going to hug them. But in their head, they might be thinking the same thing about you. So you're sitting there going, like, should we shake hands? Should we hug? Like, it's a fucked up time, and we're all going through it. And you're not alone. I know that it feels lonely, but you're not alone. And loneliness is a state of mind. To go back to boyhood to manhood, it's funny how things change. Like I used to hate being alone, and now I kind of like it, but temporarily. So I'm getting better. As I got older, I got better. Everything as you get older, it's not as it used to be or as it seems to be. You always think like and I'm sorry to the women listening to this, I'm just going to speak from my point of view as a man, that you always know when you went from boyhood to manhood. You think you know the age or the time or the event, and I don't know if women feel this too, from girlhood to womanhood, what it is, you know what I mean? But you always think you know when it was, but as you get older and you look back, I go like, that wasn't when it was. It was when it was that. It was that. And you know what's funny? As I told you, I grew up in the comedy clubs. I started stand-up comedy very, very young. And even though I was an adult legally, which you only have to be 18 to be an adult, but, we're very immature. I was a boy. Doesn't matter, I'm over 18, I'm an adult. I was a boy. So I'm talking about, when did you mentally become a man? And, as you get older, you look back and you realize when you thought it was, that's not when it was. I thought the first time I got married, I was a man. And you know what, guys? Now I realize I actually became a man when I got divorced. And maybe as I get older, I'm going to look back and I'm going to think that's not even the time. Because you keep changing. Yes, there's boy to man, but then there's man to a different man, and then man to the next level of man. And it's just the journey. And I am here to document the journey with you guys on this podcast. That's what this podcast has always been about. It is a journey. And I remember, I thought I became a man the first time I was able to do 30 minutes on stage. That's not when you became a man. That's when you sort of can call yourself a comic. Even in your head, you're like, I got 30 minutes. I was like, yeah. Try doing a room with only 2 people in it that aren't even listening to you and see if you got 30 minutes. But in your mind, in that state of mind, you're already, you're a comic, you're a man, but there's different titles for everything. And, it was not when I first got married that I became a man. It was when I first got divorced. That is when I handled loneliness the way that I was going to handle it. It was a tough, difficult time, but I got through it, and I met my wife now right away, and we're about to celebrate 4 years being married, and you guys, I couldn't be happier. But the darkest place in my life was when I was with my first wife, and I never felt lonelier. And we lived together. I slept in the same bed together, and I have never felt so lonely. So guys, it's loneliness to me is not about numbers. It's not about, well, I'm one person, therefore I'm lonely. That's not what it is. Loneliness is something mental. You can go from, it's just me, so I'm alone, or you can think, what do you mean I'm alone? I'm here with me. So I know that it's a difficult time for everybody, especially artists, and I know a lot of artists, whether you be a comedian or another type of performing art or any type of art, I know that they really struggle with depression and mental illness or, loneliness the most. And these are my recommendations. And I want to apologize in the past if I ever, belittled the way you feel or made it seem so simple, because I know it's not simple, because I'm young. I'm only 32 years old. Not to age myself, which people say age myself, they mean older. I actually mean younger. I don't like to tell people my age because I don't like people to think, well, he's only 32 or, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Hopefully you will understand what I'm saying, and that's what I would try if I was you guys. I would try to write down everything that you like. My favorite foods, my favorite color, my favorite band, my favorite movies. I don't care how long the list is. A list of your hobbies. I really enjoy this. Whatever it is. This is my thing. This is the type. This is my style. Favorite things. Just write all these different categories and look at it all and just be like, yeah, this is me, man. This is who I am. I don't care if it's like someone else. I don't care if it's different than someone else. This is who I am, okay? And those are all the things that you love, so you love yourself. Just get to know yourself and love yourself and have fun with yourself and get through the loneliness. And remember that someone's always got it worse than you. People have gone through this before. Quarantining and coronavirus is new, but people have gone through this before. And I just want to let you guys know, I don't think that it's easy as I make it seem. Everything seems easier when you're talking, but it's actually doing it, and I get that. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I hope that you enjoyed it. This is a short one. Like I said, I got no guests. I got no co-host. It's just something that was on my mind because I knew when I was saying stuff that I was going like, I make this seem like too easy, and people are hurting. People are dealing with stuff. I've heard it. I've felt it before, and I'm also hurting right now too, but in other ways, not necessarily with loneliness. Like the feeling of loneliness can come to me because I'm not able to perform as much as I'd like. I'm not able to go out, hang out to all these comedy clubs. Most of them are closed still or not doing shows, and that gives me a feeling of loneliness, even though that's not what it is. It's depression. It's a void. It's a lack of something. And that feeling is very similar to loneliness, which is another example of loneliness not being about numbers. It's about a lot of things. So, but I'm thankful. I got my wife. I got my family. And I got myself. And I'm happy with me, and I got my brain, and I love always trying to be creative or making the next big move. Guys, it's the month of big moves, August. Do a big move. If you're not doing big moves, don't do moves at all. Do you know what I'm saying? Big moves, and that's what I got to do. I love that my brain is constantly going, being creative, what big moves I can do, and let's all strive for that, for progress. I have a good feeling lately. I'm feeling happy, and I've been hanging out at the Comedy Store a lot, and I'm going to keep trying to go as much as possible, even though there's no shows. I just like to go and support, and I'm noticing more and more comics going and hanging out over there, so it makes me kind of feel good and kind of fills that void for me a little bit. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. Sorry, just a short one. I'll talk to you later in the week. We'll have a guest or something for you guys. I love you guys. Please be well. Please take care of yourself, and don't brush off, adopting a pet or something, because there's animals out there that need a home, and you need a companion right now, So don't brush that off. Please do me a giant favor and download my album. I'm trying to do everything. I'm being creative, you guys, with ways to get album purchases up It's not even about making money for me. I just want to get my name out there. I just want my album to be climbing the charts so I will get more recognition and get more bookings and hopefully come to a town near you to perform. That would be fantastic. So, I am battling being an unknown comic, and now I'm battling being an unknown comic that didn't get the proper release of an album. So if you can do me a big favor, I would really, really appreciate it, you guys. Please, whatever you use, if you use Apple, iTunes, if you use Amazon, please go buy my album. It's $10. That's it. $10. Put it in the Comedy Karma box and just download my album. It's a lot of fun, and I'm trying to be creative. I might throw like a little party or something for a release to create awareness. I'm gonna start like maybe sending out some emails to my previous attendees of shows and let them know my album's out. But if you guys can do me a giant favor, please just download it. Like I said, if you got Apple Music or Amazon Music Unlimited, this doesn't even cost you anything. All you gotta do is type my name, Agostino Zoida. The album is called The Bad Guy. You can download the whole album by the touch of a button. Or if you don't, you got to pay the $10. But you know what, you guys? I really, really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to go to homeschoolpod.com. Check out the merch. Check out, if I have any tour dates, I put them there. Although it's tough to get tour dates nowadays, but I'm working on it. So I'll put them out there. So make sure that you keep in touch with me at Agostino Zoida across the board on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is at Agostino Zoida. And that's it, you guys. I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you later in the week. We got a lot to talk about. Be safe. This is Homeschooled Podcast. Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to do that at all.